Hello, everyone. This is Reverend Richard Miner. I'm the Graduate Engagement Officer here at One Spirit Learning Alliance. And I am here with Reverend Paula Champtaloup, who is joining me all the way from New Zealand. Paula, welcome.
Hi, Richard. Great to see you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. I know it's very, very early where you are. So thank you for getting up and taking the time to talk to us. I don't know how many of our graduates know you, but you were from the class of 2013, which was my class. And we had a wonderful, wonderful time going through seminary together. And I'm just so excited that you could be here and agreed to be interviewed for the newsletter. So I just want to jump right in and just start with the first question that I love to ask everyone as a starter. Can you just tell me a little bit about yourself and tell me what brought you to One Spirit?
Okay, a little bit about myself. Well, I guess the most important thing is I'm a gypsy. I'm a free spirit. I'm a registered nurse. I'm a New Zealander. I actually live sort of between Australia and New Zealand, and now between the United States. I'm a seeker. I'm a Sagittarian. So I've always been a seeker. I've always been looking for the truth. And for many years, I travel all the time. So I spent a lot of time in India and Asia, Thailand, and dabbled in Hinduism and Buddhism just by being around it. And I heard about One Spirit from a graduate of 2008, Hilary Starr from New Zealand, a very dear friend. And as soon as she mentioned to me, I heard she'd been ordained, and I was fascinated. And I said, tell me. Soon as she mentioned the words One Spirit, Richard, every cell in my body tingled. And I can remember exactly where I was sitting at the time. We were in the car in Sydney on the Anzac Bridge, and the lights were about to turn green, and she said One Spirit, and my whole body felt electric, and the lights turned green. And I looked at the green light and I went, yeah, that's a sign. So I signed up and deferred for a year because I went to Europe for a year, to Paris and France, and started in the year 2011 and graduated with you.
Yes, it was a wonderful.
So that was and it was the thing was, I don't think I ever thought minister. The thing for me was I really, really wanted to find a place where I could learn more deeply about the different traditions, about the different faiths in a disciplined environment. I can be very erratic if I'm not disciplined. So I wanted something that would hold me accountable, somewhere where I had homework, where I had a community, and it, as you know, it far surpassed my expectations to have study groups and deans that traveled with me. It was amazing.
Well, it was certainly amazing to journey with you, and it's been an amazing journey to get to know you because you truly are intrepid, and I'm always wondering where you are in the world whenever I talk to you. But I never know what answer I'm going to get, and I think that's one of your most wonderful qualities.
It is funny because now when I get a message on Facebook or an email or a text from somewhere, Viber, from anywhere, the first thing people say is, "Where are you?"
Well, it sounds like you had a wonderful, wonderful experience in seminary. And I'm wondering, in all of your travels and all of your studies, how did your seminary experience impact your life?
Changed my life. Completely changed my life.
How so?
It's sometimes hard to put into words. I've done 30 years of personal growth work, 30 years of sort of seeking inside. But I've never felt like I had come home the way I came home with One Spirit, with the seminary experience. And it was not only coming home to myself, but coming home to God. I didn't even use the word. It was sort of like I used cosmic consciousness or greater spirit or higher, whatever I used. And I just really got it. I'm here to be in service to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And although I had always done that through my nursing, my alternative healing practices, my counseling, my corporate training, there's so many things I've done. I've always sort of felt I'm serving, but I never really got it, how important it was. And I found my tribe. You guys are my tribe. You know, I found where I belong. I just came home in every sense of the word.
And we are so grateful that you are part of us and that you're part of One Spirit, because you're truly an amazing, amazing light and such a wonderful addition to our community. You really, really are. So after you left seminary, you took another big step at One Spirit, and you went on to the InterSpiritual counseling program. So I'm very, very curious to find out what led you to that step.
Well, you know, when I was doing seminary, and I think Therese and Sally came at our second year intensive to talk to us about IC, it wasn't on my radar. It wasn't a strong thing. And then the year after seminary, in the April of 2014, I was living in New Zealand, and I went to the White Lines with Diane Burke and Renee Reagan and Deb Schmidt and Eileen Fisher and Diane Rooney. I mean, can you believe? I mean, listen to this team of people. That's just a part of us. We had the most incredible team of people. It was while I was at the White Lines, because we were so much in sacred space with these amazing creatures. It was a very deep, deep, deep time. And what I really experienced most was being around people like Eileen, Renee, Deb, Diane Burke, who had all done ISC. And there was a different quality of listening. There was this incredible, and any of the other people in One Spirit, the deans, my deans, all the deans, there is a different sort of quality of the listening and the being present that I just have always wanted in my life. So I knew that this was one of the paths that would take me there. So it was my intention, it has been my intention during the spiritual counseling to practice sacred listening. And I am so, so grateful. It has changed the quality of all my relationships.
Really? That's amazing. So it was the quality of the listening that drew you to the program?
It was wanting to develop that quality of listening. You know, for me to, I mean, you know, these three people I'm talking about, or four particularly, and my dean, Robin Lane, and Martha, my deans, and everybody. You know that when there's a quality of listening, I had always been a major talker and very self-absorbed. I'm learning not to be. I'm really learning how much quality there is in listening to other people and asking them. And I did with NIC, or while I was in New York, I did the Parker Palmer weekend with Diane Burke. And the circles of trust. And it's about asking the right questions. And I was so desperate to want to ask the right questions. And it's really interesting how often lately I've been just 2 days in sort of a retreat with Hillary, who introduced me to One Spirit. And she's been going through a lot. And, you know, I can't tell you, it was like half a dozen times in the last 2 days I've said something. She said, "What a good question, Paula." And I thought, oh, I'm getting there.
So do you feel like your experience at the InterSpiritual counseling program fulfilled your expectations?
Oh, well and truly.
Really?
Way beyond. It's not just that. I mean, it's very sacred, spiritual, sacred listening, heart opening. It's a lot about marketing, networking, how to run a business, how to charge. It's a lot about trauma, grief and loss. And I lost my brother in the first month of ISC suddenly.
I'm so sorry.
And my mum 6 months after he died.
Oh my goodness.
So it was the old me would not have been able to continue. The old me would have been completely absorbed in this is, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the strength I've got from seminary and the faith I know and the place I know where I'm held in the world,
Mm-hmm.
in God's love, in my friendships, I'm just so held. So I had a different kind of a strength, but to be going through it in ISC was unbelievable. Therese and Sally and my deans were unbelievable. The first month when Mark died, my first month of ISC, there's a thing that I absolutely love. It was one of the things I was thinking about, one of the gifts of ISC.
Mm-hmm.
In the first semester, you get 8 what they call foundation counselling sessions. It's called the foundation program. And I had Annie O'Neill as my counsellor. It wasn't till we were like 3, or no, it might have been after the first session actually, because I had just lost my brother the week earlier. And she had emailed me and said, do you want to postpone? I said, no way, no way. I need this now. After the session, she told me she was a grief counsellor. So I had 8 sessions from that week that Mark died in the IC, but all throughout the program. The deans were unbelievable. The teachers, the classmates, just held me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to just keep going. I was able to keep up.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple of moments where I said, eek. But at the end of the day, everything came through on time. And I really credit that to the support and love that was there. It was really incredible.
That is an amazing story. So this really has had a huge, huge impact on your life and on the way you look at ministry and the way you interact with people. How do you see yourself applying this going forward? What you've learned in seminary and what you've learned in InterSpiritual counseling, how do you see yourself applying that to your ministry in the future?
Well, I had this conversation with Hillary over the last 2 days about ministry. What is ministry?
Mm-hmm.
My ministry is my life.
Mm-hmm.
My ministry is my life. So because seminary and ISC have changed that so much, I just feel I'm better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm better resourced to be in this life, to be here for others, to be of service. It's deepened my sense of ministry. It's deepened my connections. And I think since my mother died, I've become quite different in myself. I've become much more insular, much more sort of introverted in a way, much more discerning about where I am, who I'm with, how I am.
Mm-hmm.
But my very best friend pointed out to me recently, she said, you keep saying it since your mother died. I actually think it's since you started One Spirit, and particularly since you've done ISC. You've just become a lot more present for people and present for yourself. I'm just much more discerning.
Well, that must be a really beautiful gift for the people around you, and also for yourself.
Well, yeah. I hope for the other people, but definitely for me. It's just a calmer life I lead now. It's not less busy. I mean, those people watching would say, "Oh my God, that's calm." It's busy,
Mm-hmm.
but somehow I'm not so freaked out and all over the place in it.
Oh, that's wonderful. I think that's probably what everybody wants a little bit of, is to be able to be the calm in the center of the storm, no matter how big and bad the storm is. Well, so what is next for you now that you are coming to commencement, where you will be speaking? Congratulations.
Thank you. That's truly an honor to be chosen to speak on behalf of the IC class, my amazing, amazing classmates, all the way from New Zealand.
Yes, and I'm very, very much looking forward to hearing you. So what's going to be next for you? What's
next for me is that I leave here in less than a week now, and I fly direct to JFK. And excuse me, arrive at midnight. I attend the final class at ISC. I have actually been taken on faculty as the online webinar advisor for the distance learners. So I actually have a role. I'm continuing. I will be in the classroom every month in New York with the IC program ongoing, which is a huge, also an amazing privilege. But I'm going to base myself, as the US government will allow me, I'm called to be there, Richard. I don't know what it's about. Everybody, and especially me, I've just driven a lot around this country on 2 road trips in the last week. It is so beautiful. It's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And people say, why don't you want to be there? You know, when a calling is a calling, I can't ignore it.
Yeah. Yes.
I need to be in America, and I don't completely understand it. And it's strong, and I want it. I love the place. I love the people. I want to be around my tribe. I want to be there. So that's what's next. And I will answer God's calling. I will answer whatever comes and do what needs to be done.
And we are so grateful, and we are so lucky to have you. You're such a wonderful, wonderful light, and you're such a kind and generous spirit. I know I have always been so grateful that you have been part of my journey in One Spirit, and you have always been a warm, shining light for me. So thank you so much for that. And I'm really looking forward to having you here for a whole year. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So
you can play.
Yes. And I hope that I will see you a lot in the city. We're just about out of time now. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the graduate community about your experience, about your hopes, your dreams, or anything?
Well, there was one question you sort of implied.
Yes.
Oh, no, one of the questions you asked was about staying connected with people. Mm-hmm. And that's something I guess I want to say to the graduate community. It's so easy to have the experience and then sort of slip away. Mm-hmm. And it's not the same. Excuse me, it's early morning. It's not the same for everyone. But for me, keeping in touch, with my fellow grads and my classmates has been the most amazing thing for me.
Yes, I'm so grateful you stayed in touch with me, and it's becoming so much easier now to stay in touch with the community calls, with Zoom, with our ability now to broadcast across the internet. And you and I are on opposite sides of the globe right now, and I feel like I'm sitting in a room with you, which is just think so amazing to me. It's just
in ISC now we use Zoom and have all the distance learners actually up their faces up on the wall, so the class participants can see them, and when one of them speaks, it sort of widens out and they have the full screen. It's just amazing. You really feel like you're present in the classroom.
And did you take some of the classes across the web?
Yeah.
And how
when I'm in Australia, it's 1 a.m. that I get up for the webinars. When I'm in New Zealand, it's 3 a.m. So it's going to be really, really joyful for me to be in the United States, in New York, New Jersey, and to get up at normal time and go into the classroom.
Well, that's going to be wonderful. So, thank you so much for sharing that, and for letting us know that is such a good experience, because it has been it's been a big upgrade for us to be able to do that. And everybody that I've talked to has said that it really does make you feel like you're in the room, even if you are all the way on the other side of the planet, and it really changes the experience. So, Paula, I just want to say thank you so much for getting up early and taking the time to talk to us. I really, really appreciate it, and for being such a wonderful example of service to the One Spirit graduate community. And to me, how much I'm looking forward to seeing you at commencement. I think I'm so excited for you. I think it's really, really wonderful.
And can I just say to all the graduates that are going to be watching this, thank you to everyone who's gone before me and led the way and influenced my journey, to all the people I've traveled with. Every single person I know at One Spirit has impacted my life. And thank you all so much.
Paula, thank you so much.
Great.
And I will look forward to seeing you very, very soon.
See you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Very soon. Namaste.